All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a concept that is a total game changer for how you look at, well, pretty much everything. It's called the growth mindset. We're going to talk about how you can literally rewire your brain for success.
So, let me start by asking you a question. Just think about it for a second. Your talent, your intelligence, your abilities, do you think they're just fixed, like you're born with a certain amount and that's it? Or do you believe they're things you can grow and develop? How you answer that one question puts you in one of two very different camps.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll break down those two mindsets that pretty much shape our entire lives. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, how to actually rewire your brain. After that, we'll see why this is basically an adaptability superpower in our crazy modern world. And finally, we'll bust some common myths so you know what a growth mindset really is and what it isn't.
Okay, so first up, understanding these two fundamental beliefs. This all comes from the incredible work of Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, and she found that your core belief about your own abilities is the foundation for everything else.
And here they are, side by side. On one hand, you've got the fixed mindset. This is the idea that you're just born with it. You're either a math person or you're not. It's set in stone. But on the other hand, you have the growth mindset. And this is the belief that your abilities are things you can build. It's not about denying that some people have natural talent, of course they do, but it's about believing that effort, good strategies, and just plain old persistence can lead to mastery.
Okay, so that's the what. Now for the how. How do we actually build this mindset? Because this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It's something you can actively practice and get better at. Think of this next part as your personal toolkit for making that mental shift.
And it all starts with the science, which is actually super cool. Your brain is not a fixed object. It has something called neuroplasticity, which is a fancy way of saying it can change. When you learn new things or push yourself, your brain physically creates new connections between neurons. So yeah, it's a lot like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. So how do we put this into practice? Here are 4 really concrete ways. One of the biggest ones is to praise the process, not the person. So instead of saying you're so smart, try saying, wow, the effort you put in there really paid off. It makes a huge difference. Another key is to model it yourself. Talk about things you struggle with. And finally, when you ask for feedback, don't just ask, was it good? Ask, what's one thing I could do to improve my strategy next time? And this brings us to what might be the single most powerful, easy-to-use tool you have. It's just one little 3-letter word, yet. Just look at the difference. I can't do this feels like a brick wall. It's an ending. But I can't do this yet, well, that's a journey. That's a story that isn't finished. It turns a dead end into an open road.
So why are we talking about all this? What's the real-world payoff? Well, it's because having a growth mindset is the engine that fuels one of the most essential skills you can have today, adaptability.
And this is why it matters. We live in a world that is just constant change, right? If you have a fixed mindset, every new challenge can feel like a threat, like something that might expose you. But with a growth mindset, you have the foundation to not just survive change, but to actually thrive on it. It gives you the confidence to adapt and grow.
You can see this incredible cause and effect relationship right here. Every single principle of the growth mindset directly builds your adaptability muscle. So, for example, when you learn to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them, a big change at work suddenly looks less like a scary problem and more like a cool opportunity to learn something new. When you learn to persist, you build the resilience to bounce back faster. It's a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle.
All right, before we wrap this up, we need to do some myth busting. This is really important because the idea of a growth mindset has become so popular that it's often misunderstood. So let's clear up what it is not.
So here's a big one. People think, oh, growth mindset. That just means you have to try really, really hard all the time. Is that really the whole picture?
Not even close. The reality is it's about effective effort. Just trying harder at something that isn't working is just frustrating. The real magic is in trying new strategies, learning from what's not working, and, this is a big one, knowing when to ask for help. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Okay, myth number 2. Is this like a personality type? Are you either a growth mindset person or a fixed mindset person, and that's just who you are?
The truth is way more interesting than that. Nobody's 100% one or the other. We're all a mixture. You might have a total growth mindset about your career, but feel really fixed about your ability to, say, draw or sing. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to notice those areas where you feel stuck and to consciously work on shifting your perspective.
And finally, the biggest myth of them all. Does a growth mindset mean that with enough effort, you can become the next tennis superstar or a world-class physicist?
And this is such a crucial point. A growth mindset is not a blank check to be the best in the world at anything you choose. It's about reaching your personal potential. It's the belief that wherever your starting point is, you can get significantly better through effort, strategy, and learning. It's about the journey of improvement itself. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought to take away. Think about your own life right now. What's one thing you tell yourself, I can't do that? Got it? Now, what would happen if you just tacked on that one simple, powerful little word at the end?